gentlemen, and welcome to another week at Zur. Now it's a little later in the day, but I had a busy morning, and I'm going to continue having a busy night, it would seem. And I have just not been on here like I should be, in the fact that we're getting essentially a 3-month extension, literally. This should have been the last week of the season, and now we got 3 more months, which I personally don't mind because I've been enjoying playing some other games, and I like to not take an intentional break. I've talked about this before. I've never sat down and thought Destiny is not fun, I'm going to stop playing now. But also it is nice to kind of get lost in other games a little bit here and there when you can from time to time. And when Destiny is alive and active and poppin', I just never want to play anything but Destiny. So I've been enjoying playing Fortnite once again. I have been attempting to enjoy Marvel Rivals. I don't know if I do or not yet. And I've been playing way too much Overwatch, but I've always enjoyed Overwatch. But with all that being said, let's see what our good friend Zur has for us this week. Alrighty, first up for our hunters, we do have the young Ahamkara Spine. We've got a Bulwark archetype with health and class being our primary and secondary perks. Not perks, what's the stats? There we go. And super is our third. I'm not a big fan of the archetype in general. I just don't find too many situations where I truly want lots of health. Although if you're in a pinch and you need young Ahamkaras and you're going with super and class in the build that you're using them with, sure, go for it to hold you over until you get something better, but personally I would probably pass. Up next we have the Triton Vice, very slept on exotic, very fun exotic in my opinion. We do have the Paragon, which is super, melee, and health. The health is not the best tertiary for you to get, but the melee and the super are both very nice touches, especially on this exotic. For our Titans, we have the Severance Enclosure with a Brawler archetype, with super as our third stat, very decent, high 63 stat. Lots of melee. The health is but the melee and the super is very nice. Up next for Titans, we have the Hoarfrost, which is another very slept on exotic in my opinion. We do have the Paragon archetype. We've got melee, super, and weapons. Not terrible, but for me, I would probably want class over weapons for a class-based exotic, but to each their own. For the Warlocks, we have Nezarec Sin, one of the best Warlock exotics bar none, but we have 60 as the base stat, a Brawler archetype, and a Grenade as our tertiary. Lastly, for our Warlocks, we have the second Filaments. We have a Specialist archetype with Grenade as our tertiary, and a base of 60. I always want to make these work. I always have a hard time finding a proper build to give them the showcase that they need, I suppose, for lack of a better way of saying it. For our strange offers this week, we do have Ascendant Shards, as well as Cores and Glimmer and Raid Banners. And for our strange gear offers, let's see, what do we have? We've got the Wordcliff Coil Catalyst and the Fighting Lion Catalyst. Both of these are really good. I think right now, I would probably do Fighting Lion over Wordcliff. Wordcliff, there's not a ton of content unless you're going and doing old raids. It's really good for Gorgons in Vault, and it's very good on Sisters, I believe, in Kingsfall. Were some people getting through the hard mode of Oryx, or the what's the big wizard before Oryx? Is that the Death Singer? Am I remembering that right? That sounds wrong, but I think it's right. I think some people used this on her at one point. I don't know if it's still viable though. But Wordcliff always seems to kick around into weird niche spots that you would never expect it to, but it's the way that it's coded, and the catalyst just makes it better. So if you can, get both of these if you don't have them, and if you can only get one, I would probably suggest fighting Lion because it's a lot less niche and it's a lot stronger since it's reworked the last, what, 2 seasons I guess it's been reworked now. For our weapons, we have the Colony, we've got the Skyburner's Oath, and we've got Monte Carlo. All 3 really good options. I think out of these, Monte Carlo is probably going to be your most commonly used, and then the Colony right behind it. I think Skyburner's is more niche, but if you have the Catalyst, it has very good build crafting potential, and I don't think it would be bad to pick it up. And lastly, we do have a Hawk Moon with moving target. We've got smooth grip, and we've got polygonal rounds. That's pretty decent. That's a more like just consistency based roll. For Hawk Moon and for hand cannons in general, I would probably prefer a dueling roll, so something that gets deadlier or more consistent as the fight goes on. This is just going to keep you consistent inside and out of the fight. So to each their own on that, but this is definitely a good roll if you don't have a better roll yet. Up next, we do have Dire Promise. Ooh, sadly we are not max range, but we do have a very, very good roll of Dire Promise here. A lot of people really swear by this hand cannon. I might honestly pick one up. I'll think about that. It looks like we do have some good weapons here this week, so let's see if we got good rolls to go with it. We've got Mountaintop with Demo and One for All. 2 pretty decent magazine perks and 2 pretty decent launcher perks. Demo, One for All, reload speed. Not terrible. I think there's better rolls, but I think if you're looking for something to chuck on a build that just does burst damage you keep in your back pocket, maybe you're going with a grenade build, maybe you picked up Nezarec and you're running around with a void nade spam warlock build, you can throw this on and you pop a few adds, get some generation on your grenades, stow it in your back pocket, swap to your primary, pull it back out, nade, pop a few adds, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, I think if you don't have a better roll, Mountaintop is just a good utility weapon, and this is not a bad roll. Wouldn't call it a god roll, but definitely usable. Ooh, another really solid roll here. So this is the new version, or the newest version, of Cold Denial. It does have Enlightened Action and Desperado. I think Enlightened Action is incredibly slept on. I think it's such a good perk. We've got Flared Mag, and we've got Hammer Forged or Small Bore, and a Handling Masterwork and Desperado. Yeah, I might check my vault later on today, or just another point. I've got food waiting on me, so I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. A buddy of mine messaging me. But yeah, that's a really solid roll, and I think I'll probably maybe pick that up. Up next, we have Arsenic Bite, Wild Blast from the past. We've got Hipfire and Explosive Heads. Overall a pretty decent roll, but not one that I would bother getting personally, I don't think. If you really, really need a bow, just in general, it's got Agile and it's got a draw time masterwork. It'll get your draw time down pretty low, and you do have explosive heads. So it's an okay workhorse kind of a deal, but it's not going to be a god roll, and it's not going to be uber strong either. So if you're in a pinch and you just need a bow for one reason or another, this one will not be bad, but this one is not going to be one that I will go for personally. Eremite, another craftable weapon from this season that is phenomenal. I believe the roll that I have is Overflow and Controlled Burst, maybe? Or Envious and Controlled Burst, I forget which. But it's a very solid fusion. I like it a lot personally. It is high impact, so not everybody's going to enjoy it. This roll, personally, I probably wouldn't go for, but it is craftable if I'm not mistaken. So I pick up a few and use your harmonizers on this thing. Get it crafted and build your own. We've got the Inquisitor. Wow, this is almost the exact role that I had on my first Adept that I rocked for a long time. So we got Offhand Strike, and we've got Opening Shot. We've got Extend Mag if you want to get that A up there, and we've got Light Mag if you're preferring your stats. And you've got Arrowhead to give you a bunch more snappy handling, or Small Bore if, again, you just care about your stats. With Alacrity, One Quiet Moment, and Service Synergy. And this is just a phenomenal slug. If you don't have a good PvP slug and you want one, grab this, please. It is fantastic. We have the Interference with Grave Robber and Swashbuckler. Sadly, just is not going to be a pick. We do have Hard Launch, but we don't have Spikes, and we don't have any of the... This thing actually does have one or two really solid rolls. It's not going to break the bank for DPS in 2026, of course, but it is usable if you get the right roll, and that one just is not it. Up next, we have another weapon that we've talked about a bunch. All these weapons from the season are good, but their perks are mid, so it makes them kind of rough. This one is maybe usable. We've got Linear, we've got Spikes, we've got Surplus, and we've got Vorpal, Handling Masterwork. Ability to make it work, but it's not going to do anything crazy for you. It is Vorpal, and it's got a reload speed bump, and you have Spikes, and that's really it. Again, one of those situations, if you need a GL right now, and you just cannot get one, this one will do some work for you, but it's not going to go clock in overtime. It'll just clock in for its shift, and that's it. And last but not least, you do have the Faith Keeper Rocket Launcher. Actually a semi-decent roll. But again, it is craftable, and I would just recommend picking up a few copies and using your resonance and crafting one. As always with all rocket launchers and grenade launchers, you don't want blast radius, you want velocity. Every time I go on and look on Light GG or D2 Foundry or any place like that, the #1 rolls are always the rolls that bump up your blast radius, and I must shout once again from the mountains, rockets and grenade launchers are like shotguns. The bigger your radius, the more damage that can miss something. The tighter your spread, the more damage that you're going to get from directly impacting whatever you're impacting. So, always go highest velocity, lowest radius as possible on all grenade launchers and all rockets. Barring waveframes, because waveframes actually do want the blast radius, but I feel like that's something that most people do know, so... But with that being said, I think that is all Mr. Sir has to offer for us this week. And I've made a friend. Hello, friend. Alrighty, but with all of that being said, I think that I'm going to go ahead and head out. I've got some chilaquilles waiting on me. I am hungry, and I also have some coffee that's probably no longer hot. That is also waiting on me. I'm going to go and eat and hang out, probably watch some YouTube, and then I will catch you guys another day. Once again, thank you for following, and thank you for watching. If you made it to the end and you liked what you see, be sure to leave a like and follow so you don't ever miss another upload. And if you feel like it, comment down below. Tell me something you liked about the video, tell me something you didn't like, tell me what games you've been playing if you're like me, kind of taking a little Destiny break and playing some other stuff. Are you like me and getting into PvP? Did you try Marathon? Are you playing Overwatch? Are you dabbling in Fortnite? Are you trying a new game, playing old games? You know, what do you guys got going on? But I love you all. I thank you all once again. And I will see you all next week. Have a good week, Guardians.